What is up, everyone? Okay, I've got my coffee. Have you got your coffee or tea or water or whatever? Why in my mind do I always want to say or tequila? If I'm drinking straight tequila at 1 p.m. and it's not a Saturday on the beach, I'm in a weird mood today. Not a bad one, just a weird one. I've seen a lot of these video types floating around YouTube for years. I've seen different versions of them. So this is a generalized list of 10 types of things I don't buy anymore. I love watching these videos. And if you'd like to see me do a more like lifestyle, regular life, basically non-beauty version of this, let me know, because I've got a list going for that and I think that would be a fun one to do too. Okay, I've got my list over here, so I've had to like blow up the font so I can actually see it. I'm like a 98-year-old woman. And there's an incessant fly around the camera, so. First thing I no longer buy, tons of nail polish. Okay, I used to, and who was it I was just watching talk about this in their version of this video, and I was like, yes, I can relate to that so hard. I used to be the person that owned like 50 bottles of nail polish. And if you look back at my old makeup collection videos back when I lived with my parents, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I loved nail polish. I mean, that was like a thing. And of course, I get my nails done a lot more. So that is one part that has changed. So me recognizing that is a piece of it. But even if I were always doing my nails on my own, and I paint my toes on my own, I don't pay for pedicures typically unless there's like a special event. Guys, you can't let me go off on all these tangents. I'm never gonna get through this video. I really only use the same like 3 colors. I use Essie Bikini So Teeny because it's such a unique like periwinkle color. It's been a favorite for years and years and years. I use some kind of like pink color and then maybe like a red watermelon color. Maybe I'll throw in like a coral or something, but that's pretty much it. And so for me to own, even now I need to declutter that drawer. I own probably like 20 nail polish colors. They're all going bad. So I know I need to get rid of it. Just keep the 3 or 4 I actually use and that's it. There's kind of a lesson in there that I've just kind of outgrown that era of collecting 100 nail polishes. I giggle in a like loving way. I love it. Thinking back on the nostalgia of having like nail racks on your wall with hundreds of nail polishes. Like it was the most. There is something special about having just those few colors you actually use and they're fresh, they're not 10 years old, and that's all you need. Okay, another one. I really don't buy makeup wipes anymore. I used to use them like crazy. I now am literally just using up what I have left. I bought like, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago, a big thing at Costco. And I realized, I don't like using them on my face. So I haven't done that in a very long time. So the only thing I'm really using it for is like wiping off makeup swatches. And so that's why I'm like, I can use literally anything else for that. I don't have to separately buy makeup wipes just for that purpose. So that's something that as I work through it, I don't foresee myself buying anymore. Typically I buy a pack of like 5 or 6 reusable, washcloths, of course, they're reusable, that I can just toss in the washer and wash, and I have plenty of those to help with wiping off swatches. Then I could just use makeup remover to actually remove it, like if it were like stained on there, like let's say a lip stain, Another thing I no longer buy, and I think I'm gonna need to explain this one, I typically don't buy brush sets anymore. I used to, oh my gosh, I just remember the days where I would so desperately want like those Sigma brush sets that had like 100 things in there. Okay, I'm exaggerating. And I don't know that I ever ended up buying any of those, I don't know. But all of that aside, I've realized, I know what kinds of brushes I typically like. And so for me to buy a set of brushes is just kind of silly because even looking at any set, at whether it's now or me 7 years ago, I still was only using probably half of the brushes, if even that, in any given brush set. So for me, it just doesn't make sense. I don't get the use out of all of the brushes. And I don't know that anyone would. I feel like everyone, if you do use makeup brushes in your daily life, you probably know what you like. For me, I think I'd rather just buy individual brushes that I like. Like if I know of a brand I really enjoy, like for example, I really like the Sephora Pro line of brushes, then I can just buy single brushes from there when they go on sale. So another thing I no longer buy are backups of products. The only exception is if it's something that like my hairspray, I know which one I like. I keep trying other ones and I keep being disappointed. Since I know which hairspray I like, when it goes on sale, I'll buy like 2 or 3 of them. That's just because I know I go through hairspray like 1 bottle every 2 or 3 months, so I will definitely use it before it would ever go bad or anything like that. Barring something like that, I really don't buy backups anymore. And it used to be that I would look at it and think, oh, well, it's such a good deal, let me buy a couple of them. But if it's not something that I know I'm going to use up anytime soon, it's just wasteful. It's wasteful of my money, even if it's a good deal, because it's also wasteful of the product. If the product's gonna go bad before you ever use it, well, then why spend your money in the first place? I don't think there's anything wrong with backups if you're someone that does go through stuff a lot or whatever, but for me, it just doesn't make sense anymore. I've stopped getting most PR for a reason, because I had backups and tons of drawers. I still am working through things I got years ago. I don't need that kind of clutter in my life. I don't think anyone needs that kind of clutter in their life. Another thing that I am no longer buying are liquid lipsticks. This is more me just discovering I don't like them. I naturally have very lined lips, you know what I'm saying? So even when they're perfectly moisturized and they're not chapped or dried, they still look wrinkled, if that makes sense. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that department. And so because of that, and my lips have been like this forever, like as long as I can remember. And because of that, liquid lips always, while they can look nice from like 3 feet away, like on camera, and I do own a couple, I don't foresee myself buying many more in the future, if any at all, because of that. I know that I don't reach for them. I know I don't like the way they make my lips look, regardless of how nice the color might look, and regardless of how long they may last. If it looks bad within the first hour of me wearing it because of the way my lips are, then I'm not gonna reach for it. So for me, it was just kind of getting past that trend of liquid lips and how I could look at it and appreciate it on someone like on Instagram and think, wow, it looks amazing. But now I realize, but it never looks like that on me. So there you go. Also, look how cute, totally random side note, look how cute this phone case is. I got it on Amazon and I had originally ordered the wrong like size for my phone. And so I had to return it, and I ordered the same exact one, but in the right size. I don't know how I screwed that up, but it literally took 3 months to get here. So it's finally here. I'm so excited. It's really cute. Another thing I'm no longer buying are giant eyeshadow palettes. What initially, when I was kind of creating this list with my coffee this morning, my first cup, I was thinking, yeah, like those really big palettes that have like 50 shades in it, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you know what? I haven't gone for those kinds of palettes in a very long time. But what I mean even now are those palettes that even have like, I don't know, 24 shades. I own a few that I like, and you know, maybe every once in a while if a color story is just so up my alley, maybe. But as a general rule, I'm just not even drawn to them anymore, because I've discovered that I only use about 4 or 5 different shades of eyeshadow. That's just what I use. And while every once in a while I might dabble out of my comfort zone, it's not a regular thing for me, and I'm okay with that. I just realized, I'm like, why am I forcing it? Why am I trying to like these palettes that I just am not using? Maybe I like the quality enough, but I'm only using 4 shadows in it. Well, if there are 20 other ones I'm not using, once you start breaking that down, like price per shadow, I'm hardly getting my money's worth, like not even close. I'm thinking I should do a video on like my favorite smaller palettes. Maybe I should write that down. Another thing I'm no longer buying are highly scented makeup items. And that kind of goes for skincare too. I've realized, especially with skincare, there are certain smells I don't mind. Like maybe it's a really light smell, and if it doesn't bother my skin, I'll go for that. But if it is overly scented, it's such a turnoff for me, because while I'm doing my skincare routine in the morning or night and I'm smelling that, especially if it's an unpleasant scent to me, which I feel like a lot of skincare scents are for whatever reason, I don't like it. I associate it with like breaking me out. Whether that's true or not, you know, it depends on your skin. So that's one piece of it. But the other piece of it is, you know, I think I've just kind of outgrown that. It's not to say that you can't be 68 years old and really like a peach scented palette, because I do like the Too Faced peach palette and their chocolate bar palette, and I don't mind that those are scented. But I haven't bought products like that recently because I just don't know that they're necessarily marketed towards me. And I just don't really need the scent in them. While I can appreciate it and think it's kind of cutesy and I kind of get it, I get that world, it's just not necessarily anything I need to add to my collection that I'm dying to have. The only other caveat I would throw in is, you know, with lip products, if it's got a really nice like vanilla scent, I love that. So there are certain little bits to it I'm willing to bend, but I notice as a general rule, I really am just not buying any scented makeup items. Honestly, one thing I have not found myself buying are masks, whether it's sheet masks or even just regular masks. I do have a few, and I have quite a few sheet masks I've been working through. I just don't really have the time to use them. I wish I did, and I used to be so diligent about, you know, like once or twice a week doing a mask of some kind. It is so far from my mind for whatever reason. I don't just mean the past few months with like coronavirus. No, I mean like the past year. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know what changed, but I'm way more focused on the skincare I'm using every night instead of worrying about masking. And I think another piece of it is not only is it hard for me to kind of find the time to squeeze it in, I also don't know how to fit it into my routine. If I put a mask on, then I've got to wait and I'm like in bed or, like trying to go to bed. Then I rinse it off and then I'm like, well, should I put on my entire skincare routine now or should I let that work its magic and just put on my moisturizer? And so that's usually what I go for, but then I feel like I'm missing out on the benefits from my usual skincare. So it's one of those like battles I have in my head that I don't know. Masks are just so far from my mind right now. So there are a few I do enjoy and that I'd recommend for people that do. But as a general rule, I really have not been buying sheet masks, especially very much at all recently. Another thing that I'm not typically buying are products that I only use part of. So let me explain. My most recent example I talked about in my anti-haul video that I put up, I think like last week. I can link above in the eye and down below. I was just talking about how there was this really cute Kaja little like duo where there was like a lip and cheek color and you could use them for either one, but one was much, much deeper than the other. So when I looked at it, I knew that's not a product I'm gonna use on my lips just because I know what I like to use on my lips. And so if I'm only using it as like a cream blush, which I love cream blush, looking at those two colors, I really would only use one. One of them is more suited to my skin tone and the other is not. That's one of those things that I feel like me a few years ago, I would have just bought because I love the brand, I like cream products. But now looking at it, I think, you know what? I'm only gonna use 50% of that. And so what's the point? So you can also take that and apply it to like face palettes. If I'm looking at a face palette and it's got like 6 different blush options, am I really gonna use it for the 6 different blush colors? Probably not. Again, I know what colors I like. I already have those in like single blush format. Really looking at if I ever buy face palettes, looking at am I gonna use, if there's 6 pans, at least 5 of the 6 pans. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Like if I can use at least 2/3 of it, that would be a better use of my money and so that it doesn't go to waste. Another thing I just don't buy, because I just don't use, are full coverage face products. Concealers, foundations. It's not that I don't own any now, but it really is one of those things that right now, at least with the way my skin is, I just don't like it on my skin. Now, if I had a lot more to cover, I could see myself using that. So there's nothing wrong with it. But again, knowing my taste and how much time I devote to doing my makeup in the morning and how much I want to touch it up and worry about it throughout the day, full coverage makes me more nervous than just a more lighter coverage that's not as noticeable. For me, if I'd wear a full coverage foundation, let's say, and I rub my nose or I'm kissing on my daughter, even if it's powdered and primered and all of that stuff, over time it's gonna wear off on my naturally very red nose. And so it's way more obvious when it's worn off in areas like that on me when I'm wearing full coverage versus if I'm wearing more of like a light to medium coverage, which is what I prefer. So that's a piece of it, is just having to worry about touching it up and it being super obvious as it wears off, but also just my skin needs. I don't need that kind of coverage right now. That is a totally personal preference, but if for you, maybe you look at it and think, you know what, I only wear full coverage, I really don't like BB creams, then you don't have to buy BB creams. I feel like right now it's like trendy to wear less coverage, but if you have stuff to cover, then cover it if you want to, or don't. Totally up to you. But I guess what I'm saying is, we don't have to feel pressured to like whatever is trendy. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But I think that's a piece of it. This lighter coverage stuff is kind of trendy, so you want to try it. But if you don't like your skin with lighter coverage, then you don't have to do that. It doesn't really matter what other people are doing with their own skin. Okay, So let me get on my high horse real fast. I want to share with you guys lessons. As I was making this list, man, I was just sitting there and I was just looking out the window wistfully and thinking, you know what? I have learned a lot about myself just making this list of 10 things I'm really not buying. Let me share with you some lessons that I've learned that you might be able to learn from too. First of all, know who you are. For me, I know that I like light to medium coverage. I know that I don't wear a lot of colorful eyeshadow. I know that I don't like full color lipsticks all the time, especially if they're more drying, because I tend to go for like a lip gloss, especially bonus points if it's plumping, like this buxom one I'm wearing. For me, I know who I am at this moment of my life. In 10 years, will I suddenly like full coverage again and liquid lipsticks? Maybe. I don't know about liquid lipsticks. We all change, our tastes change, our needs change. So know who you are at this moment of in your life. And anything that doesn't serve that, you don't need in your life, whether it's makeup or otherwise. Another lesson I learned is to stop following the trends, especially if they don't serve you and your tastes and your needs. Trends are just that. trends. They come and they go, and as fast as they come in is as fast as they leave. And, you know, especially in the makeup and beauty world, that fly, man, I'm real close to killing it, but I just don't like killing things, okay? You know, following the trends of what's popular can be fun with some things. Like for me, I feel like stretchy, cute bracelets are like in again. And so like I just bought a few more. Honestly, it's because I saw Leanne Says wearing a bunch of cute ones and then she linked them and then I bought them. But like, to me, I look to my favorite influencers and I'm like, oh, that's really cute. I've never seen that. That's what's trendy in my head. Do you know what I'm saying? But we're all fed our own social media and the people we follow. And if you read magazines or whatever it is you're watching, that's a trend I can get on board with. I can slip bracelets on, I enjoy. But like, there are other trends that maybe I don't get on board with, or like it's really trendy to wear a super nice leather jacket, but I can't afford one, or I just don't like the way they're not comfortable on me, or I can't wear it with my toddler. You know what I'm saying? That's a really weird example. But I'm just trying to think of, you know, trends not just within makeup, but in fashion and stuff. Following trends doesn't serve anyone else. It's your own battle you're having against what you like and what's cute out there. So, you know, finding what within the trending world you actually like and do those. You don't have to follow the trends. So with makeup, like I was mentioning, if you don't like lighter coverage foundation, then you don't have to find a BB cream you actually like. You know what? There might not be a BB cream out there that you actually like because you like full coverage, and there's nothing wrong with that. Another lesson, quality over quantity. This has been a huge shift for me the past couple of years. You know, I still have that's my makeup collection there, the top 3 sections, you know. And it's larger than I would need, but given what I do on YouTube, it makes sense that I would have more than maybe just an average person. However, my collection used to really be out of control. It used to be a bunch of Alex drawers as well, and you know what I'm saying? So really realizing that, you know what, having more doesn't give me anything more. It doesn't make you happier. It doesn't, I mean, I know this, I sound like a broken record. Everyone knows this, but it's true. It doesn't make you happier. I'm not yelling at collectors out there that like to collect makeup. If that's something you genuinely enjoy, go for it. This is not me attacking you. I get it. But just for me, knowing that I would prefer having less items that I really, really like over, you know, way more of stuff that I kind of feel wishy-washy about, and I have a few I like. Another lesson I've learned is find balance. Because I do love makeup and I've been in this world for 7 years here on YouTube talking about makeup and playing with makeup, it is still something I enjoy. So in that way, it does make me happy. Striking that balance with finding what I love and using that over and over again, and still trying new things that excite me that are launched. And so that's where I'm at. I think I'm finding a decent balance at it where I'm not adding way too much to my life, but I'm still getting to have that fun of trying new things because I do still enjoy it. So this was so much fun. I hope it was enjoyable to watch. I hope maybe you learned something new. Maybe you learned something about yourself. Maybe it's kind of made you a little bit introspective about the habits you have when it comes to makeup or collecting or whatever it is. Let me know if you would like to see a more like home lifestyle version of this outside of the beauty world, because I literally during this video have thought of a couple things and I've already started my list. So I would love to share that with you guys maybe in the next month. Subscribe, stay tuned for that if you guys do want to see it. And yeah, cheers. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. I hope you'll subscribe for 3 videos a week, beauty, lifestyle, home stuff, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.